this will be a review on a fantastic book called The Human Torch and the Thing, Strange Tales, the Complete Collection by Lee, Leiber, Kirby, and Ayers. But this is the funny thing. This is called the Complete Collection, but in essence, this is the Epic Collection. Even though it does not say the Epic Collection in this volume, everything about this format is an Epic Collection book. The only difference is, I suppose, this is the complete run from the 1960s. Basically, and I'll get into it, is, see right there, the Complete Collection. The Human Torch had a solo series, okay, because they thought he would be the most popular member of the Fantastic Four, but he's not. And they put the Thing in near the end run to try and boost sales, and it eventually got canceled. But you could see it here, issue 101, October 1962, to issue 134, July 1965. And so that was that complete run. But check this out, and this is what's very interesting. Besides it being just over 500 pages for a cover price of $39.99, but I got it for like 26 bucks with online sales. Also, notice this very funny thing. Collecting Strange Tales 1951, 101 to 134 in Annual 2. That 1951 is a error because that's not it. So an obvious error, and somehow it made it through the editing process. I mean, book collecting people, it's right on the cover. How could you mess that up? So with that said, okay, if you know what an epic book is, this is the same thing. Such an enjoyable read. The color reproduction, the restored art. Look at this. Kirby started out the art, and then later on, and Stan Lee as well. And then it went into a couple of other artists' hands in the volume. But you get character introductions for first appearances like the Wizard, Paste Pot Pete, and other characters that became mainstays. Plus you get this really nice crossover issue, which was in the Strange Tales Annual 2. Look at this cover. It's a really classic cover. Look at that. Nicely done here. Check this out. Some nice first appearances and things of that nature here. Again, if you like the Epic Collection, it's the same thing, but one of the appealing aspects of this is you get the complete run of that early 1960s comics of the Human Torch in his solo adventures, all in one book, all the issues, and that's pretty appealing for a reason to get it. And especially if you want to learn the early Marvel history, or you just like the 1960s stuff that you've had other books on before and you want to see more, then this is it. I mean, it's enjoyable. Is it perfect? No. If you don't like the mindset or the stories in the 1960s, then you wouldn't like this. But if you did like that stuff back then I think you'd definitely like this volume. Check it out. Team up with Iceman. Fantastic Four members appear here and there. Look at that nice page right there. And look at this. Iceman was trying to ask out and hit on the Human Torch's girlfriend because he didn't know. Pretty cool. And they have to team up. Just flipping through the art so you get a feel or a sense of if this is something you'd like to buy or not. The only thing also that is kind of iffy with a question mark is what I don't like is, you see this? For some reason, on the covers, they put an orange trim on the issues. You see, only on the covers, not on the pages, but when you get to the covers, you see an orange trim. And I don't like that, honestly. Why couldn't they just keep it plain white or plain black for a background? But that orange thing, it's... you're just trying to be fancy just for the sake of being fancy. And they did that on the bonus pages as well. And I guess they wanted a Human Torch type theme to it, because I kind of get it why they would put that on the cover for an orange type of theme. I get that. But then they continued it throughout the table of contents, and especially on the covers. That's the thing. No need to be fancy. They were just trying to get fancy. And if anyone at Marvel is listening to this, don't do that anymore. Just white background or a black background. Don't try to make the covers fancy on the background. So that to me is just a little off-putting. And I guess only that negative, plus the price of $40 might be a bit much. But again, you buy it online cheaper, and if you like the epic stuff, the color reproduction, the art, you get everything complete. It's just fantastic. But another thing to notice, at about issue 130 to issue 134, I thought the art got pretty bad. I didn't like it as much as the previous artists, and what they did was they changed artists. They probably knew the book was gonna get canceled at that point, so the good artists left and they went with lesser artists, and the stories weren't as good either. On the last 4 issues, I would say, is not too enjoyable overall, issue 130 to 134, but the rest of it is an enjoyable book. So the last few issues are average, and the cover with the border trimmings I didn't like, but I really like the fact that you get that complete run of the Human Torch in the Strange Tales volumes. I like the fact that you get it all for this epic collection type thing for one price, and you get it cheaper with online sales. And they do give you a few extras which are pretty nice. Some of original art pages here, for example. Look at that. This is advertisement. It's pretty good. Some reprint covers. That's nice. They made a modern one a couple of years ago, but I'm not even going to bother with that. They just wanted to bring it back for a short run in the modern day. But here, Strange Tales 101 to 134, complete run from the 1960s of the Human Torch's solo tales, and they added the Thing in much later in the series to try and boost sales. But it's really mostly the Torch. If you like this stuff, I would definitely recommend it. Not a perfect volume in terms of format. It's 1 or 2 questionable topics there. Because of the border colors, and the last few issues weren't that great, but overall the vast majority of the stuff, really enjoyable run. I would recommend it, especially if you could get it under the $30 or under price range. Then I think it's a good investment. You'll have a good read checking this volume out. And that's the review. Thanks for watching, and talk to you later.